And welcome everybody to the 2023 season of Traveler Chat. My name is IMCF Traveler, at IMCF Traveler on Twitter. I'm here with my co-host Jorge. How you doing, Jorge?
I'm good, Trav. How you doing?
I can't complain. It's a nice Friday night. No real complaints. Season's coming up real quick.
Yeah, really excited. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got the off season, MLS season pass, and some moves to kind of break down and predictions. I think is kind of what we have on the itinerary for tonight, right?
Yeah. But before we dive too much into it, there's been one big announcement this week, and that is Traveler Chat has joined the Inter Miami Podcast Universe. Really quickly, the Inter Miami Podcast Universe is this kind of collection of various Inter Miami personalities, all collected together under the Inter Miami Podcast umbrella. So going forward this season, the recorded version of Traveler Chat will actually be on the Inter Miami Podcast social media channels. It'll be on their Spotify, their Apple Music, all of that. So you'll be able to tune in afterwards and catch the recorded version of Traveler Chats on those mediums. And, for me personally, this is really exciting. I've been talking to the Inter Miami Podcast guys for probably a season and a half now, and this really came together over the past couple of 2 months or so. And I think of this as a great way for just another voice to get into the Inter Miami kind of podcast sphere, and a good way to make Traveler Chats accessible for anybody that wants to listen to them afterwards. And then real quick on Traveler Chat, if you've never tuned in before, Traveler Chat is hosted weekly on Twitter using Twitter Spaces for as long as this lasts. And it's open mic. Anybody can speak. Anybody from the community can come in. Me and Jorge aren't really hosts. We're more moderators to a open conversation. And it's something that came after a lot of chirping on Twitter saying that there's no way to respond to me without sounding like an ass. And I agree, mostly because I'm an ass most of the time. So Traveler Chat gives that ability to people to come in here, share your thoughts, however wild they are. You can come in and have your voice heard. So that is basically where we are. Jorge, I know you're excited about this. It's really exciting to, kind of have a home for Traveler Chats after we're done.
Yeah, it really is. We did this for roughly the second half of last season. You started it, and I jumped in, later on. But it's really good to have this kind of a format where you and I communicate with a lot of other people, through Discord, through Twitter, and sometimes it's really nice to have a conversation. And so, I think over the last few months, it's been really great to get, Callie, the Batter Heron guys, like broadening the community and the conversations between people who are doing their own things, like Black Herons United, Battered Herons, even some of the journos out there that, do really good work and kind of have a space that we can communicate, bullshit, debate, and, just kind of build more community around the fandom and our excitement around this team and the future, and, kind of live and die on the hopes of the dreams of Inter Miami winning a championship one day. So that's really what I think is most exciting about this style of format. And, I'm really honored that, you've given me the opportunity to co-moderate this with you, and that, the Inter Miami podcast guys have kind of opened up the gateway for us and others to join them.
Yeah, I fully agree. And you'll hear people from all over the Inter Miami kind of fandom on here throughout the season. We'll have a rotating third moderators with us. Like tonight, we have Callie from Black Herons United and from the brand new Inter Miami Podcast Universe show, Away Days. They just released their first episode yesterday. It's a fantastic listen. I highly encourage you to go and check it out. And it's just a really nice way to turn around and get a vast kind of idea or gauge of where the fan base is at with certain moves, certain results, where we are in the standings, all of that. So I'm really excited for what this season has to bring, and really just excited to kind of get back. It's been a relatively short off season with the World Cup, but it's nice to be back and back home in Dry Pink Stadium next week.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming. It's coming up. So, with that, where do you want to start?
I think the kind of best place to start is let's just dive right into it. Let's get into predictions.
Okay, you want to start there? Let's go.
Let's start from like the very top and let's just spiral down from there.
Okay.
So, Jorge, give me your predictions. We'll start with the kind of prediction for the starting 11. Let's start with that because I'm sure that'll lead to some conversations about some of these additions and departures that Miami's seen over the past couple of months.
Okay, so starting 11. So, given kind of what we've seen through preseason, and some of the formations that we saw towards the end of last season and the moves that have been made, I think starting from the back, Drake obviously is who I would slot in as the starting goalkeeper. I think McVeigh, and what's the new guy's name? I cannot pronounce it.
Sergei Kristov.
Sergei Kristov.
Sergei Kirstov.
Kirstov.
Ah,
Kirstov.
Thank you, Callie.
Krivstov. I asked my Ukrainian friend. So you could pronounce it three different ways. Well, two different. You could call it Sergei, or if you want to be like really like super into it, you can call it Serhi. And then his last name is, you can either say Chris, which would be the direct translation in English, or it would be Krivstov. That's I tried my best, but that's how he said it.
So Kristov.
The S and T are flipped. I can't pronounce it right. Only he can. I'll ask him another time.
Yeah, get him on here so we can get an appropriate pronunciation so we stop sounding like idiots. But him and McVeigh, starting center backs, Yedlin on the right, Negri on the left. I think that's probably the starting back four. The question really becomes, what do we do in the midfield? So 4-4-2, 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-2-2-2. I think it's going to be Gregory as the stopper, but Mota as the drop back receiving 6/8. So Gregory's going to primarily remain in the defensive third, not really progress the ball past midfield, and Mota's going to be more box to box. Next to them or above them is going to be the real question marks. We've heard Stefanelli's name be tossed out there as showing a lot of attacking verve, someone who likes to move forward and attack the goal and who wants to really progress in a way that may be different than what we even saw without Pozuelo. I think that's a really exciting, dynamic skill set. But without having seen him, without him being tested, I'm not going to predict him being in the starting 11 week 1. I'm going to actually put Bryce Duke in that spot. Next to Duke is it Pizarro, Robert Taylor, and I really just don't know. I'm going to guess it's going to be Pizarro, as much as I hate to say it. I don't think his skill set fits this style, but he's a good player. He can provide something, and I think Phil is at least going to give him the opportunity to show what he's worth. And I think he will probably be that second attacking midfielder in that second line. And then obviously up top, it's going to be Campana, it's going to be Joseph. And I think that would be my prediction for our starting 11, week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I, for the most part, agree outside of, I think Stefanelli is a day one starter. I think Josef and Campana up top. Phil Neville's made it very clear that they're going to both play. We're going to play 2 strikers this year. And for me, the biggest question mark is really just who's going to play that, play creating number 10, but maybe not a true number 10 role in the midfield. Malta's shown his ability to play that line breaking pass at times, but Malta's also very key defensively. Pizarro in the 2020 season showed that he can be really good at times, and then times just completely drops off and forgets that he's even playing. And then guys like Stefanelli are a question mark. We've not really seen much of him in preseason. He wasn't around for the only open preseason match. According to reports, he looked very lively and very good against St. Louis. But at that point, he was playing St. Louis's basically third team. So for me, that's the biggest question mark going into the season is who's going to play that number 10 role. Robert Taylor can do it. He's more of a true winger than anything. He can use his speed and his fantastic skills to create. But that right there is the biggest question mark. Who's going to play that role to feed Campana, feed Josef?
And I think that part of what makes this difficult is that the identity of this roster build last season was a single striker with 2 attacking wingers. The 4-3-3 is what we saw a lot of, and that wing play, created a lot of, basically our best attacking chances for the vast majority of the season. We weren't terribly dangerous going forward until late when we started really kind of clicking with once Pozuelo arrived. But this team has a surplus of wingers that are talented players, and a guy like Robert Taylor. Obviously, we've sent Emerson off. Ariel Lassiter, who no one is talking about anymore, and I mean, is a guy who has his faults as far as finishing, the ability to take people one on one. Some he doesn't put it all together sometimes, but you can see that he has the ability that if it when it clicks, he can be a very special player. The way that this team is structured now, guys like him don't necessarily have a spot anymore. And so, Stefanelli and Duke, I could see playing side by side. And that means that Robert Taylor comes off the pitch. It's who's going to be, what is our attacking formation going to look like? And how do we get the guys that have been here and that we know what they have and have been established, how do we get them involved in this new style? And that's really one of the biggest questions for me moving forward this season, is to see, with this identity change, with playing 2 up top, and maybe this stacked double 2 midfield, or 2 and 2 in the midfield. I just don't know. We have a lot of players that are versatile, but I'm concerned that we may be leaving talent on the bench that may be better utilized with a shift. And I can definitely see Neville doing it late games, going for goal, pulling out all the stops and attacking. I don't know. That's one of my biggest concerns in this offseason is, I see a change formationally and tactically, and I just don't know if we're going to be, how well we're going to pull that off, at the start.
One of my biggest concerns is are we sure we're playing to the player's strengths, right? Chris Henderson has done everything he can to bring in the right set of players, right? He brings in great personalities, great locker room people, Yedlin, etc., etc. But are we playing to these players' strengths, right? Because I joke around that at least once every game, one player is out of position, like every time, and it kind of shows how they're out of position. McVay is kind of I know he's not a left back, but he did actually pretty well as a left back. Not saying that we should do that this year, but given the case last year, our thin roster sanctions, I get it. But like in this case, like Pizarro is a left-sided winger. He can play as a 10, but we're not playing him as a 10, and we're using him as an 8, which is I don't think he's played there very much. So I personally, if you guys like all know me, I do not like Pizarro at all on this roster. And he's kind of lacked in form lately. Hopefully he can get back, but I'm not sure how he's going to get back in form when you're playing him out of position. It's like Coco as the 10 in preseason. We're paying him pretty good money, but we're not doing him a good service because we're literally playing him out of position. Like we're not giving these guys a fair chance to show off what they really can do. That's my biggest concern.
Well, I almost think that the playing guys out of position narrative with Inter Miami is a little overblown because we've seen Chris Henderson consistently sign these guys who can and have played multiple positions. Stefanelli's played both wings, striker, center forward, and number 10. Chris McVay, before he came here, played left back, played right back, played center back. Uh, Ariel Lassiter is a winger and can play striker. Robert Taylor is a winger and can play in the midfield. So I think that's a little overblown just because that's the guys that Chris Henderson and Phil Neville like to sign. They like to sign guys who can play in 3-4 different roles if needed.
And I think the point that I really agree with Matthew is, and I agree with you too, Trav, but are we playing them in their best positions? And that is, and I agree, the out of playing players out of position is overblown, but with that versatility, Robert Taylor's clearly a better winger than he is centrally. He has the talent to play there, but his best moments are when he has space and he can take someone to the touchline, and he has that magic. Same thing with Lassiter. He didn't show much when he played centrally as a striker, but as a winger, that's when he started to really flourish. McVay, I think we all agree, was a standout player for us. Played basically every single minute, but he did play in the weaker of the two positions that he's comfortable with. And now, hopefully, we're going to see him play his strongest position. And that's, I think that's where that second midfielder, in is it Pizarro? Is it Duke? Is it Taylor? That player I really want to see play, be locked in that is their best position. Because we need that support moving forward because this team desperately needs to facilitate and score more goals than we did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I think that a big question with these players who can play different positions is, are they playing their best position? You mentioned Robert Taylor, who we saw when we played, was it Charlotte? He had that fantastic ball movement on the right side, cut inside, shoot, score. He did the same thing against Dallas, where he had a fantastic run on the ball and then played a pass across for Campana to tie the game late. That is going to be the biggest question. And we'll also see how flexible are we in our formation. Phil Neville came out today and straight up said we're going to be playing with 2 strikers. Does that last? Do we potentially see a move to a 4-3-3? Or what about, and this is crazy, what about a almost 4-2-4 where we see 2 wide players who can come inside, like Rodolfo Pizarro on the left, Robert Taylor on the right, where on defense they tuck inside, on attack they come out wide. So I think this squad has a lot of positional flexibility, and it's just going to be where can we optimize the players we have the most.
Listen, guys, I'm sure Phil has he's already shown that sense of flexibility with the formations. So I'm not worried about that. I think eventually he'll figure it out, especially when you incorporate the new guys. When you have Negri, when you have Stefanelli, which, by the way, he brings different characteristics from Pozuelo. And so the only reason that diamond formation even worked in the first place was because of Pozuelo. He was the main guy there. He was the capo there. So now that he's gone, who knows what Phil eventually is going to figure out. But I don't think that diamond formation will work unless we put Duke or even my boy Escona up on the top of the diamond.
What are we going to do when a player gets injured? Like, what do we do if well, it's only a matter of time before someone pops a hammy, and hopefully not, but it's gonna happen. I don't think we've
Going
ever
for
gone
Robbie
like
Glasslegs.
yeah, Robbie Glasslegs. He pops a hammy, or let's say a random forward, Campana, I guess. He pops a hammy. What do? Do we still keep playing 2 strikers? Are we gonna have Robbie Robinson go up top with Joseph Martinez and spamming step overs and cut on the inside for 90 minutes? I don't know. Are we going to have Lacava play there?
Well,
I don't
Matthew,
know.
remember Stefanelli's preferred position is actually as a false 9 or on top next to a target striker like Campana. Campapi, actually. Let's call him Campapi. That's right.
Oh, Campapi. So there we go. But
yes.
So what I'm saying is like, well, what do we do when a player goes down? Like Campana goes down, that pretty much ruins our 2 striker system. Hey, let's see if Stefanelli can do it. I don't know. I haven't seen any of him. All I've seen is highlights off of YouTube. I don't follow the Swedish league at all, so maybe he can prove me wrong.
As far as Stefanelli, everything that I've heard, and even people that follow the Swedish Meatball League, everyone says the same thing. His strength is as a sort of shadow striker or false 9, or as a left winger. So that's his strength. So that's why I don't think he'll work, in that diamond formation on the top. But if Martinez or if Campana gets injured, at least we have Stefanelli. He can step in there.
Yeah, I mean, to Matthew's question, what happens if one of these 2 strikers goes down? I think it's easy. We shift to a 4-3-3. We have plenty of wide attacking talent that has been tested, and we know there's a level of comfort there.
I agree, man, completely. Especially with the wingers, that activates the wingers. We put Lasser out there, or even, back to Robbie Taylor.
My question is, I'm not saying like what I would do 4-3-3, like immediately, like 100% boom right there, I'm not even a second thought, right? But the problem is, what would Phil do? Now that's a whole different other world of what would Phil do.
We cannot predict Neville Ball. Come on, man, you know that.
Dude, Neville Ball is like, okay, so we're gonna play Rodolfo Pizarro as the 6 because Mota is down, and I don't feel like playing Gregory in position. That's Neville Ball right there.
Well, I almost think, you mentioned an injured in the midfield. I'm not worried about the midfield at all this year. Everybody's heard me. We have a fantastic player on the bench who can step in and play the 8, the 10, the 6 in the midfield. and his name is Benja Kramashi.
Stop! You're gonna get him sold. You're gonna get him sold. What are you doing? The curse.
First of all, am I the only one that pronounces his last name as Kremaski? Am I the only one?
It's Kremashi.
It's Kramashi.
Is that confirmed? Like Kremashi? Is that what he said?
That is confirmed via his DMs.
Kremashi. That's so strange. Okay.
And I think going into this season, he is the player that excites me the most. He's 17. He already earned a call up to almost like the trials for the Argentina U20 national team ahead of what was it? The Copa America U20s. And he, for me, is really exciting. If you guys don't know who he is, go check out some IMCF2 highlights from last year. He is truly the next real deal. I am really excited for him in the midfield. And, for any injuries up top, I don't think I'm too worried there either. Miami spent a lot of time building their depth this offseason. Between a healthy Robbie Robinson, Jake LaCava, Ariel Lassiter, who can play centrally. Miami now has a wealth of depth up top. And that goes without even touching on other guys such as, let's see, Coco Jean or, Coco Jean, who can also play up top, the striker. So, I think Miami up top is going to be very sound this year. I think there's a lot of depth there, so I'm not too worried about injuries. I'm mostly concerned about who's going to feed them without Alejandro Pazuello, who has signed a contract in Turkey a day before the devastating earthquakes there.
Oh, the reason why I was freaking out before is, if you don't know, every time this man says something good about a player, I think last year it was Indiana Vasilev. Yeah, you know what that's? He gets sold. Who was it before? Who was the 2020 one? Oh, that's right, last year. Damian Lowe. You said high things about Damian Lowe and he got sold.
Well, to be fair, Damian Lowe, I said nice things about for like 2 weeks beforehand, and then he got sold. So
that's
the
what
curse
I'm saying.
may be
That's what I'm
working
saying.
a little bit too quick.
Say nice things about Robbie Glasslegs. Come on, say it.
But yes, for those who are tuning in for the first time, I'm accused of having a curse, and that is anytime I hype up a player or buy a lot of their merch, they eventually get sold. Year 1, it was Lewis Morgan. Year 2, it was Indiana Vasilev. And this year, for me, it is Benja Kramashi. And for 2 weeks, it was Damian Lowe as a joke, and then he actually got sold, and now I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, we even hyped up Lauren Markwith, and she got, I don't know, she left. She didn't get sold. She just left.
To Lauren Markwith with the, huge IMC. You are not an IMCF Traveler fan. You are not as good as Lauren Markwith. She's my favorite person on this planet. Now, the rest of you guys are second fiddle.
Trav, if you ever say a word about Ryan Saylor, I'm going to find where you live and burn your house down.
Let's go.
Please don't. Please don't. I just bought this place.
I mean, he lives in Broward. I mean, that would be a good reason to go to Broward.
Oh, God. Is anybody from Vice City listening?
I mean, yeah, that was about to say. I mean, this off season has already started with threats of stabby, and now we're moving on to arson. So
I'm saying specifically, if Ryan Saylor gets sold because of Trav, I'm burning his house down.
I mean, I'm
straight up arson right there. Jesus Christ, that's woo. Okay, so we went from arson and we got a stabs. What's next? Who's gonna call it?
Speaking of stabs, if you want to get your chance, Travie boy, go to the barbecue tomorrow. Let's go. I'm going.
Sir, I'm actually going to referee again tomorrow, despite getting beat up 2 days ago.
Boo.
So I was hoping he took me. I clearly have a death wish.
Tell me how much you like Pain Daddy.
Yeah, Trav,
Okay.
Hey,
Trav, you have the most interesting life, I swear. It's just you fascinate me, my friend. But to get this thing back on track, do you think Benji is going to be our first homegrown superstar?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Even
It's
though I've
Benja.
seen nothing.
Benja.
but
Okay,
and
Benja.
and what is, in your opinion, because I haven't seen him play nearly as much as you have. What is realistically his floor and his ceiling?
I would say his floor is, to me personally,
Atletico Madrid.
kind of a yeah. I think his floor is a high caliber MLS player. I think he's one of those guys that, oh, at the very minimum, 10 years will be like, wow, he's been a huge player for 10 years. At his thing, I think the next big U.S. talent to go overseas and kill it. Almost or a Tyler Adams, or even better, Brendan Aronson, who came from an MLS team, went overseas, is now killing it for Leeds, despite the fact that they're probably going to get relegated. I think that is his top, if not higher than that.
Whoa. First of all, Brendan Aronson has been decent with Leeds. The most he did was clown Mendy in the first week and then fall off the face of the earth. But I have a question for you. What position is he? Is he like a Pedri type of guy? Is he like a Gavi? Or like is 8, 6, 10? Like, well, I don't know anything about this guy besides his name.
Get out of here from
So
Barcelona. Come on.
Benja is very much an 8. Right now, his biggest strength is the fact that this kid doesn't get tired. He will give you the same amount of energy from the first minute to the 90th minute. This kid does not get tired. I'm 7 years older than him, and I walk up the stairs and I'm tired. This kid can go 90 minutes on a professional field and not get tired. So that is, by far his biggest strength. On top of that, off the ball, he's very smart about his positioning. He's a late arriving midfielder to the box. He, can play that first, line breaking pass, stay centrally to connect or be there for a hit out of the box. And, in his debut season last year for IMCF2, Benja really kind of killed it for, at that time, a 16-year-old playing amongst men. And as I pull up his stats, let's see his 2022 MLS Next Pro stats.
I'm just not convinced that Phil's going to play him that much. I don't think he's going to get that much burn this season. Maybe
Watch, he's gonna get the Ascona treatment, get sent to like some random USL team, and then just mysteriously come back for no reason at all.
Yeah, my poor boy Ascona, man, just rotting back there, just not getting any burn time.
Am I the only one that has watched Ascona and been like, this kid's just not ready for the pro level yet? He's not big enough. He's too much of a hot hit.
I mean,
haven't seen it yet.
I'm there too.
I would have that opinion,
I'm right
but
there
this
too.
guy never touches the field. He only touches the field against Vasco, and then that's it.
I mean, I watched him with Inter Miami too, and he played well at that level, but he's not, frankly, mature enough to be a pro yet.
I think it's because Phil favors midfielders that have a good work rate when they backtrack, and the Ascona, that's not Ascona's strength, which is why I think that Robbie Taylor is going to be the guy, that number 8 that's going to be starting day one. I think Phil favors him a lot because of his work rate. So I think that's the issue with Ascona.
Well, and really quick, back to Benja. 143 minutes last year, 13 games. He started 8 games. He had 5 goals, 1 assist, and a pass completion rate of over 80%. in 2022, his first year as a pro at age 16 amongst adults. And for a 16-year-old, that's pretty impressive. And countless times there were things he did off the ball with just his work rate that made him look like an even higher level player than just those base stats show.
Well, it sounds like with the questions that we have in the midfield, it sounds like he is going to get at least some opportunity to, at least, in spot duty. Because, we have there's so many more games that we are guaranteed to play this year. Guys like him are going to definitely get burned. And, I think, I'm excited. What you just rattled off there and what, everyone's been saying about the kid, I'm excited to see him, against grown men and professionals and see what he has.
Yeah, and you make a really good point about there's a lot more games this year. There's U.S. Open Cup. There's Leagues Cup. Miami will be playing upwards of 40, probably 42 plus games this year. So, depending on which competition we're truly going the hardest at, are we all in on the MLS League's domestic season? Are we all in on winning the Supporters Shield and winning MLS Cup? Or are we going for U.S. Open Cup? Are we going for Leagues Cup? It'll be very interesting to see kind of just which one of those competitions we're aiming for the most, and how that affects who we play in those matches.
I can't really trust, the Phil's press conferences. He's like, oh, we're going to try our best and blah, blah, blah. We're going to go all in. And then he starts the C- team. I just really hope that we make a deep Open Cup run. That is a trophy that is very, very much attainable. I'm not sure about Leagues Cup. Atlanta is going through a whole lot of rebuilding time right now. Who knows how they're going to end up? And I don't know anything about Cruz Azul, so I don't know what we're going to do in the Leagues Cup.
My issue with the Open Cup is that if you dedicate that much time to try to win it, you're sacrificing somewhere else. You're sacrificing the league position. And the thing is, I'm not sure exactly, how low we're going to end up for a playoff spot. That's what I'm afraid of. I think we should definitely prioritize the league, and then with the U.S. Open Cup and that other tournament, I forgot the name of it. We can use the younger guys to play to start those games.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point there, Steve. That and to kind of get back to the predictions, is that where does this team land as far as the table? And I have a hard time kind of squaring what I actually expect, because there's been more turnover than I anticipated this year. The onboarding of Joseph, the changes in the midfield. There are more questions in the starting 11 than I thought that there would be after last season, and that kind of has unsettled me as far as what I feel about this. But how we approach something like Open Cup is going to be dictated by where we stand in the table and how good or bad this team looks once that competition actually starts.
Yeah,
sorry.
Just
let Mr. Hello Kitty over here speak.
Whoa.
Hey guys, first time, long time. I was just wondering. Thank you. I was just wondering, how many times do you think the pizza man is going to spread his mouth open this season? I'll hang up and listen.
Who's the pizza man?
A Papa Jan's question.
Oh, Papa Jan.
Oh,
no, it's I'm talking about Pizarro.
Oh.
God. I think Pizarro. I don't really have a good feel on where Pizarro is in this squad. Oh, I do think he's a day one starter. I think a lot of the things we've heard out of camp for him have been extremely positive. That he has a good attitude, that he's getting along with the squad, which in 2021 he didn't. He had his whole Twitter outburst when he left, and I think that for me personally, Pizarro's baseline is he's got to at least in MLS have 5-5 stats, 5 goals, 5 assists. Even if he's playing as a number 8.
This may sound insane, but I legitimately think that we're a better team than we were last year.
That's not insane.
I think this, I think we sorry, we've gotten better at every position on the field. So I understand our worries, but I think, it's on Phil now to perform and set the right lineup, but I mean, I don't think it's insane to say that we can sorry, that we can have a top 4 finish this year. I don't think it's insane that we can make a deep cup run.
All right.
I think all those things can be true.
All right, here's a spicy question. All right, 6th place. This is a question for everyone. 6th place, under or over?
In the East?
In the East.
Over.
Easy.
I'd say the same.
I'm saying push. I'm being the pessimistic one. I was pessimistic last year. I was cautiously optimistic, but I was saying I'm okay if this team doesn't make the playoffs. I have to see it. There's too many questions for me to feel comfortable.
Think about it. The top 2 teams, like Montreal and NYFC, they got weaker significantly. So there's a chance. There's a chance that we can stay on top. Over 6th place.
Yeah, but Nashville came in. Philly's still there. Orlando may very well be better.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just. I mean,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong
realistic.
at all.
I mean,
he's not wrong.
It's like I can see top 4, but to get to top 4, to get back to Chris's kind of question about Pizarro, Pizarro has to be a DP. He has to be a true game changer for us to maximize our position in the table. Because if we're going to play him and we're going to pay him what we are, he has to do more than 5 goals, 5 assists. He has to have more than 10 goal contributions on the season. If we really want to push. I mean, when I think Trav, when you were on with Chris on Battered Herons, I said in the chat there, what I would love to see is for Josef and Kampapi to have 30 goals combined. Whether it's 2010, 15-15, however it is, those 2 strikers can be 15 to 20 goal strikers. I believe that, but we need someone else to contribute beyond that. And we haven't had that in any of the seasons that this team has been in existence. There hasn't been a second or third option that is successful and dangerous. And that's what someone like Pizarro has to be. If it's not him, it has to be a surprise player. It has to be a Stefanelli. We know what Lassiter can bring. We know what Taylor can bring. But is Lassiter going to be an 8 to 14 goal contributor? Is Taylor going to have 6 or 7 goals in him? I think that they can, but they've just never really done it, and that's why I'm pessimistic, and that's why I say over under on 6th place. I'm a push. I think 6 is right now, until we see more.
Well, I think Lassiter, instead of scoring 8 to 14 goals, I think he's going to get 8 to 14 misses per game if he starts. But that's just me. What my biggest concern is in this league, in MLS, it is different than every other league. Your DPs need to perform or you're bust. There's no question about it. Every team that is successful in this league, their DPs have to step up. If they don't, you can see, I think 95% of the teams in this league, if their DPs aren't performing, then your team is essentially in like 10th, you know?
No, and I think, oh, in a quick look around the Eastern Conference, oh, kind of just running down the list of the teams, you have Atlanta, who's arguably gotten weaker. They lost Joseph. They brought in Grigorio, whatever the hell his name is, but overall have looked like they've gotten weaker. Montreal's had an absolute fire sale. They lost their coach. They lost a bunch of players. They sold players to Europe. They sold players within the MLS. They're undoubtedly weaker. I will be surprised if they make the playoffs this year. Charlotte has made some sneaky good moves and looks like they could be an easy playoff team in the East. Chicago's gotten weaker. They've gotten rid of their starting goalie and one of their starting young talent forwards in John Duran. Columbus has also gotten kind of weaker and at the same time stronger in terms of some of the moves they've made. DC hasn't done anything. Cincinnati has made some sneaky moves where they could be a playoff team just like they were last year, but it really depends on the performance of their front three in Acosta, Brendan Vasquez, and Brenner.
And Brenner doesn't want to be there.
And Brenner doesn't want to be there again. So it'll probably take half a season to decide he wants to play. Nashville, which a very interesting point I read about earlier this afternoon. Nashville has not scored a single goal this preseason except when they played the U.S. U20 national team.
That's real tough. That's tough.
So every time they've played, men real teams, they have not scored a goal this preseason. New England has not really made any moves, so they're a very kind of on the edge team. NYCFC also had a bit of a fire sale. They lost Maxi Morales. They lost Tati Castellanos last year. They lost Alex Collins. They look to be making a couple of moves now, including bringing Santi Rodriguez back, but they also are very on the edge team. The New York Red Bulls have brought in a new DP number 9. For them, the question will be, is this the one? If it isn't, they could very easily be a 7th or 8th place team. Orlando, credit to them, have made a bunch of fantastic moves this offseason and brought in a lot of really talented young players. The question is how long will it take for them to mesh and get together? They had a lot of turnover this offseason and brought in a lot of good young guys. But as we've seen in MLS before, just because they're good and young in another league, it can take time to translate in MLS and show that on the field in MLS. Philly has made a bunch of underrated moves this offseason, and they're still a top team to me. Toronto has kind of made mixed moves. They obviously last year brought in Lorenzo Insigne and Bernardeschi.
Yeah, Bernardeschi.
But they lost Crescito this offseason. They just sold off Jaden Nelson. They're still questionable on defense, and that's what did them in last season. Is Insigne and Bernardeschi aren't fit to play a full MLS season with the travel and the heat in the South and all of that. So they're a team that I don't see as a playoff team, despite what every U.S. MLS analyst is saying.
That was a very thorough breakdown of the entire East.
Yeah, A+. Look at you.
You're doing a Wade Davies job for us, man.
Yeah, you guys are welcome.
Ooh. By the way, don't forget. I don't. Speaking about away travel, we have to, for the love of God, get better at our away form next year. Our away form in 2022 was horrible.
Well, I think if you watched on the Inter Miami app, this never got released publicly for some reason. It was on the app, and the club never said anything about it. Chris Henderson did. It was a little 2-minute video where he talked about what he wanted in 2023, what he wanted to improve on, what he was looking for. And it was this really informative 2-minute clip that the club never released anywhere. And he talked about getting better on the road and getting better at free kicks and getting better at, dead ball plays. So, I think Miami, who went and just came back from a week-long kind of team building trip to Sarasota, that is going to be it's a very big focus for them this season is win on the road. In MLS, if you win half of your road games and half of your home games, you are in the playoffs. And that's the reason that, Miami came in, sixth last season, is if they just took a couple extra points on the road, those tight games that they either lost late or didn't show up until late, but it was already too late. If Miami took an extra 6 points from those games, Miami would have been, talking about hosting a home playoff game in fourth. So I think going into the season, that's really key for this Inter Miami side.
Weren't we significantly better on the road in 2021 than we were in 2022?
Yes.
I'm pulling it up
Yes.
and I'm trying to remember just off the top of my head, but I feel like our away form was much stronger that season. And obviously, I mean, the roster is nearly 100% different today. I think Gregory is probably the only, well, I guess Pizarro too, but I mean, those are the only two guys that remain from that season. Um, but yeah, I mean, I agree that bolstering results on the road is going to be important. I think you look at the beginning of last season, those first 5 games, there were points that were lost on the road, especially real early on. You take away those 5 games, and we were on a points projection, that was, I believe, equal to or very close to Montreal's, for the season. So we ramped it up, heart attack Herons or not, but we did enough at home. We just need to do better on the road. I don't think we need to win half of our games, so we need to come away with more points than we did.
Also,
Well, and
we
if you
need to win more, not more consistently. Well, duh. We need to win with more, what do you call it? Emphasis, not late minute heart attack herons type of thing. I would love to just win a game 2-0 at home. Relaxed, not biting my teeth off, not freaking out like I can't watch the game. I just hopefully this season that we can just watch a 3-0, 3-1 game, like a nice lead, not like a 3-2 in the as much as it's exciting that we fought until the end. I don't know if my heart can take it anymore.
Well, and if you look, kind of really quickly at Inter Miami's history, not including 2020 because of just how weird of a year that
We don't
was.
talk about 2020.
In 2021, Miami had 18 points on the road versus 23 points at home. In 2022, Miami had 15 points on the road versus 33 points at home. So in 2023, Miami's already shown that they're going to win at Drive Pink Stadium. It's a really tough place for opponents to come and play. The question for this Miami side will be, can they improve that away record? Even if we get, let's say, 22 points on the road and 30 at home or 25 at home, that's pushing, 50 points in an MLS, that is a guaranteed playoff spot. And last year, that's borderline a guaranteed top 4 in the East. 50 points would have put Miami in 5th in the East last season, and they finished on 48. And just looking at that, if Miami can win on the road this season, they'll have a successful season.
Let's hope. I mean, we are 15 days away. So we will start getting our answers here soon enough.
Yeah, 15 days away, 8 days away from Fun Fiesta at Drive Pink Stadium, which, if you've not received the email and you're in South Florida, a really fun event to go to, especially if you're an Inter Miami season ticket holder. If you're a season ticket holder, the gates open at 2 o'clock sharp, which gives you first access to buy the La Noche kit, which will be officially unveiled on February 18th at that match. However, if you go to Soccer Locker in Miami, you can buy one right now. You will also have the chance to buy team-issued and player-issued merch from last season. And post-scrimmage at 4 against Austin FC, Miami will be holding a exclusive for season ticket holder player meet and greet with the entire squad. You can get photos with them, get stuff signed. I've already spent way too much money on jerseys and gear for them to sign. So that's going to be a really fun event to kind of get hyped 1 week before the season officially gets here.
Now, this player-worn, game-worn merch, do we know what that actually is? Is it just going to be kits? Is it going to be, what does that entail?
From what I've heard, it's going to be kind of everything. It's going to be everywhere from leftover XBTO Inter Miami polos that the coaching staff wore last season to leftover, jerseys from games, Inter Miami Academy stuff. It's going to be basically a bunch of leftover gear that they've been holding on to, like the special jerseys from the Minnesota match, the drive out cancer jerseys. I believe those will be available. And just a bunch of other really fun merch that you can't buy anywhere else, that this stuff isn't on sale anywhere else.
Is this going to...
Kelly's going to be all over the Ryan Sailor stuff, all over them.
I want the Campapi, but I hope they didn't wash it.
you
Oh, you want Campapi's BO all over you?
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
I can attest that whenever you buy like a game worn jersey, I have.
My God, they smell like shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even, like, they smell like dog shit.
I have Chris McVeigh's game worn jersey from the Atlanta match last season. And let me tell you, I am glad that thing isn't a case, because when I opened the box that it came in, I needed more than a few, candles and air fresheners to make my room smell at all normal after that.
Yeah, my Juneteenth jersey that I got from the 21 season from Gregory is it was ripe. It was ripe when I opened the box. So,
but in this case, I do believe a lot of this stuff has been cleaned. It hasn't been sitting around for a year, just soaking up those player juices. And especially stuff like the polos and stuff that were team issued. There's a good chance that a lot of that stuff was never even worn. It was issued but never worn.
Oh, by the way, cash only. Don't forget that shit is cash only. You got to hit up the Drive Pink ATM for that.
Yes, this has not been announced officially. Inter Miami kind of under the radar put it on the app and then quickly deleted it.
It sounds pretty them to me. Yeah, it sounds.
The Merch Madness, where you can buy all of this team issued and player issued merch from last season, according to the Inter Miami app, will be cash only. there's a chance that changes when we get an official announcement the next few days. But as of right now, be sure to bring a fat wallet of cash. Please DM me a photo of what you look like, what you're driving, and how much cash you're bringing, and we'll set up security in the of you and the blue lot.
Is this a free for all, or is it going to be an auction? Like,
this one.
I'm curious because obviously I'm not
Everyone for themselves. Everyone for themselves. You got to run in all at once. It's going to be like a Black Friday on a Best Buy. That's how I bet it's going to be.
Oh, so you're not gonna get anything, running in there with socks and slides.
Hey. I don't know what to say to that.
I do believe that the way this is set up is gates open at 2 for season ticket members, 3:00 for everybody else. I do believe it will be set up in an area of the stadium, not necessarily the team store, and will be a bunch of merch on racks with prices. And you say, I want to buy this, this, and that. It's also limited in terms of how much you can buy, so you can't go in there and buy the entire rack of player jerseys for $100 each, and then immediately hit up eBay after the event ends and start selling them for $400 or $500. It will be limited in terms of how much you can buy, so that there is not necessarily enough to go around, but enough that if you're there at 3:00, it's not going to be completely wiped out.
Your wallet just breathed a huge sigh of relief, Trav. Huge sigh of relief with that.
Matthew, you forget that I have contacts, and I'm going to buy whatever the fuck I want.
What about players' shorts and socks? Can we get those too?
That is a
Stinky
great
socks.
question. I do not know. If you need more socks for your nefarious bedtime activities, may I recommend Marshalls?
Travis is sock wearer confirmed.
Well, I just want, for anybody who's going out there, if you see something that is unique, that, like an off-brand player, something like that, snatch it up, let me know. I will Venmo you, send you my address.
Don't tell me
you
you
guys
get
can
banned.
ship it
Come
to
on.
me. I want something weird that is going to be on sale there. I don't know what it is. You can surprise me. I really don't care.
It'll be.
What the hell is this? What is this, like an Inter Miami sponsored dildo? Like, what are you implying here? Jesus.
Good Lord, no. I mean, someone who played 6 minutes, and something like that.
That Jorge's kind of taking the traveler approach to selecting a player, where it's like, this guy seems a bit obscure. I'm going to buy his stuff.
Exactly.
Like me with Indiana Vassila 5 minutes after he signed, and everybody was like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, doesn't matter. He's mine now.
Yeah, and I mean...
And then he left, so...
Well, Cali's already claimed Sailor, so I don't want to, start a rift with my boys. So, but
does Robbie Glasslegs count as an obscure player?
I mean, listen, a number 1 overall pick. I'm not going to say no to it.
Yeah, but that guy's barely played. He's always injured.
Fair, But it's a good piece. It's a good piece of history. I'll go search out a Leo Cullen jersey from the Fusion. I could have, 2 game-worn jerseys from Miami's number 1 pick.
Way back. Way back.
I have a perfect player for you.
Chris Henderson.
No, player. George Acosta.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. That's like Felipe Valencia obscure.
I mean, I'll take it. I liked Acosta. He was I thought he had some promise.
The only time Acosta played for the first team last year was 15 minutes in the Austin blowout. That is his Inter Miami CF first team profile. That is obscure. If you wore an Acosta jersey in the match, oh my God.
I'm sold, Trav. If they have one and
Noah Allen only played the start
no questions
game
asked.
correct against Chicago.
Just hit me up with the bill.
Yeah, he played in Chicago for a couple of minutes too. I think he was subbed in like the 85th minute or some shit like that.
Acosta played when we played in Chicago?
Yes.
Not Acosta.
Oh,
Allen. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
My
no,
internet's screwing up.
Oh no, I know. I swear to God, Acosta played. Oh, that reminds me. I figured out the pronunciation of Serhi. It's Krivitsov. He spelled it to me phonetically, so it's Krivitsov. Serhi Krivitsov. There
He
you go.
sounds like somebody that if I upset, he's going to like make sure to take me out in an alley after the game.
That's the type of defender I want. Like not the kind of own goal type of biggest mistake per game type of defender.
Steve, who are you calling him?
Nico Bellic.
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto.
And who's Negri? Yeah.
The Punisher.
What's his name? Oh, the Punisher.
Yeah, look at him. Look at the guy. He looks exactly like Punisher.
That's the type of defenders I want. There you go. There you go.
But yeah, overall, really excited to have this Inter Miami season coming up in very quickly on us. Miami plays 3 more preseason matches before that home opener on February 25th. They will be playing both Montreal and I believe Columbus next week. And then on Saturday, February 18th is Fan Fiesta. It is open to everybody. If you're a season ticket holder, tickets to this event are free, and you get a bunch of really cool perks with this match, from Merch Madness to taking a photo on the field to a season ticket member barbecue that the club is hosting to a post-scrimmage meet and greet with the players. And then quickly afterwards, a week, we have the home opener against Montreal on February 25th at, I believe it's 7:30 p.m. So very quickly arriving here. Now, a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Traveler Chat will return live on, I believe we're going to aim for the 23rd, just to kind of give some time to digest the last preseason game and as we head into the home opener. And you can tune in here at my Twitter page at IMCF Traveler, and as I continue to either break news or write really crappy memes or attempt to slide in Lauren Markwith's DMs.
Whew, I wish you best of luck with that. You need some top tier Riz right there.
Guys, really quick, I don't know if we discussed this, but who's gonna go to the barbecue tomorrow that's hosting La Familia? Because I'm good.
I don't want to be stabbed. I'm good.
I already got the beer ready. None of you guys are going?
I can't go. I'm sadly refereeing all day tomorrow. Probably gonna get stabbed. That's just the escalation of things.
All right,
Pod Squad scrimmage. That's what I'm going to. Family friendly. Pod Squad scrimmage.
Yes.
Whoever's going, I'll see you guys out there.
February 19th, the Inter Miami podcast is hosting a open scrimmage. Signups end, I believe, tomorrow. So you can turn around and join us, join the Inter Miami podcast Discord and sign up. But on that note, Jorge, any final comments?
No, it's just good to be back. Thank you all for jumping in and chatting, and we're finding our legs and doing this again. But I'm really excited for the season and really excited to keep these things going over the next few months.
Yeah, really excited for it. So once again, thank you for listening. We will be back on February 23rd with a look at the February 18th preseason finale against Austin FC and a look ahead to the home opener. So thanks again for listening, and we will be back then. And as we like to end these with a good old Vamos Miami.
Vamos Miami.
Vamos Miami.